Hey, Omar again with Chicago Cycle Network. And well, we're in a roll. It's raining outside, and still you showed up, and I'm so appreciative and grateful. And again, when you guys get to know who I'm with, man, you'll be like mind blown that we actually have people like this in the network, and we see them on the road, but we never really realize and or understand different people's background and how they make the network work in Chicago and why the culture is so beautiful because we have some amazing, amazing people here. Again, thanks for everybody who've been subscribing and helping me to, promote the channel, whether it's via Instagram or YouTube channel. Really, really truly, grateful. And yeah, man, I sent a message on Strava, didn't get a response for quite some time, but then he responded. He was like, oh, I don't check my Strava messaging. And so that was great. And now here we are. And I'll tell you this, we met at the Cortado group ride. And whenever he shows up to the Cortado group ride, it's like a PR day for everybody. Like everybody get PR, okay? And I can tell you that Dave Lipinski is a true fanboy of who we're sitting here. Not just Dave, myself too. And I'm a fanboy because I tell you this, if you can hold his wheel, you will get the best draft of your life, okay? There are four guys in network that, for me, give the best draft, and he's one of them, okay? The other person is Sig, Dean, and Big Drew. I call them Thea Drew. If you can hold those wheels, guys, I'm telling you, you'll have the best draft of your life. So if you can hold his wheel, you want to get a com or a PR, show up at Cortado. And if he's there, I guarantee you it's going to be fun and you're going to be pushed, but you're going to enjoy yourself. So with no further ado, Mason, thank you so much for showing up, and introduce yourself and let us know who you are.
Thanks, Omar. Excited to be here. Thanks for that incredible intro. So I grew up in Evanston, so been in the area. Lived in Italy for about 14 years. My first career and sport was basketball. That was grew up, played in high school, played in college, played overseas, and had my introduction to cycling when I was over in Milan. Actually, my agent was into cycling, and he happened to make friends with one of the owners of Rocca, the cycling company, and they make really high-end bikes for many professional cyclists. And DeRosa's son was actually a fan of the team that I was playing on in Milan. And so after the game, they introduced me to him, and we were talking, and Cristiano DeRosa asked me, like, hey, are you like cycling? And I said, well, I haven't really gotten involved in it, but I'd love to get started. And he's like, well, if you're ever interested in getting a bike, let me know, and we'll help you get a bike. And I was like, oh, I'm interested. So
nice.
Anyway, long story short, they ended up making a bike for me, and I didn't really use it much until I retired, and then I started to kind of get involved with cycling. I did a little bit in the off season, but knew nothing. And so it was basically like, I had this great Italian custom made bike. It's like giving a Ferrari to a 16-year-old kid, and I had no idea what I was doing. And like all of us, everyone has to start somewhere. But then I moved back here and brought my bike with, and slowly started to get involved in cycling. And I was very fortunate that James Brown, who kind of took me under his wing. I accidentally joined a group ride when I was out riding. I heard this buzz of bikes behind me, and turned around and said, wow, that looks pretty kind of cool, and they're going pretty fast. And it was a Judson weekend ride, and I tried to jump in and kind of broke every cycling rule that known to man, including wearing, like, I had, I think, ankle socks, athletic socks, and people were looking at me like, what are you doing, dude? Get out of here. So after, I got dropped on that one really quickly, and then I got into another one, and James kind of pulled up and said, hey, you really don't know what you're doing, do you? And I said, no. He's like, but do you want to learn? And I said, I do. And so he said, okay, like, well, meet me tomorrow and we'll go for a ride. And so that kind of began my cycling education. Did a lot of the Judson rides for a while, and then got into racing a little bit. And then the pandemic hit, and like a lot of other people, went indoors, got into Zwift, and I got really hooked with Zwift, and so started to do a lot of racing through Zwift, and now I do a lot of virtual cycling. So Zwift, I've gotten involved in my Whoosh now. I'm on a couple different virtual teams. I'm also on 606, so I still like to try and do some outdoor racing, but I've got 5 kids, and so schedules and whatnot outdoor racing becomes a little bit more difficult. That's why I love virtual cycling, because you just jump in your basement and get an incredible workout, great racing. So yeah, that's a little bit about me. Yeah.
Yes. So he has 5 kids. I have 5 kids. So and that we're actually, it's like one of the few things that we are equal in. We both have 5 kids. So that's awesome. When it comes to cycling, he's here, and I'm like maybe way behind here. So you mentioned that you played basketball. Could you? Because I think you're being a little bit modest. You're holding back to let people know, hey, you play like high level basketball. Because I googled your name, and I saw you in a picture with your Nyaming. So tell us a little bit more about your basketball career.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, my basketball career, I played at Princeton. That's where, and I had some success there, but also had a bunch of injuries. So I wasn't sure if professional basketball would ever be in the cards. But I really wanted to try. We did my sophomore year in college. We went over to Italy and did kind of like a 2-week tour where we played a preseason tour where we played some of the professional teams. And one of my former teammates was at that time playing professionally, and so got to see that life. And I just thought it was awesome. So that kind of put that goal on my radar. My first year out, I did a whole bunch of tryout camps, but didn't get any offers, and I ended up playing in the one of the minor leagues in the U.S., a team in Trenton, and did well there. That was a good experience, and from there I got an offer to play overseas in Italy, and I was thinking that it would be, a couple of years. I was young, and that would have been just kind of fun, and but the more I got into it, I did well. I was actually able to get, I have dual citizenship through my dad's side of the family. They're Italian. So when I was over there, I was able to get my passport, and that allowed me to then try out for the Italian national team. So I just kind of kept sort of moving forward in my career. And I started on the B. They have the kind of different tiers for national team, and one summer I played on the B team, and then the following summer I made the top team, and that opened up then the possibility of playing in the World Championships, which was in 2006, and that was in Japan, and that was like, basically, I'd say the pinnacle of my career. I mean, it was amazing.
I saw the picture. I saw the pictures on Google.
So that's where that picture came from. We played against in the group play. China was in our group, and so got to play against Yao Ming, and I was guarding him. And I definitely won't say I shut him down, because I think he had 30 points, but did get to limit him a little bit, and we ended up winning that game. And we did pretty well, actually. We beat Puerto Rico. They had some good players, and then we also matched up against the U.S. So that was a very surreal, amazing moment for me, because I remember standing, on the court before the game, and they're playing the national anthems of the two countries, and one of the requirements with being on the Italian national team is my teammates were like, look, you have to learn the Italian national anthem. Like, you need to learn the words, and they would test me on it and have me sing it. And so,
do you still remember it?
So, well, I remember parts of it. I can't remember. It's been a while since I've sang it, but so they did the Italian national anthem, and I'm singing it out there with them, and then they play the U.S. national anthem, and I'm kind of standing there listening to it. I just remember getting goosebumps, kind of thinking wow, this is so wild. And yeah, it was we played them tough. We were up at halftime, and then in the second half, Carmelo Anthony caught fire. But LeBron was on that team. I mean, they were.
So you've played against LeBron?
Yeah. Played against
Wow.
LeBron, D Wade. I guarded Dwight Howard. Almost accidentally ended his career. I got a rebound and offensive rebound and pump faked, and he jumped up and I was like, wow, he's up in the air for a long time. I have to wait for him to come back down. And I was like, I got to try and draw the foul. And so I jumped up and drew the contact and the foul, but then he like flipped over me
Ooh.
and landed on his kind of back and neck, and a little bit was on the ground. And I was like, oh my God, did I just destroy Dwight Howard? But he was fine.
He's a tough guy.
Yeah,
he's a tough guy.
Yeah, so.
It's a funny you mentioned D Wade. Like, this is a true story. So I remember when I lived in Miami, I have a friend, his name is Ken. Ken, you know what I'm talking about. And for the commercials, Ken was D Wade's butt double. Like I'm not kidding. So in the dribbling shots from backwards, that was actually my buddy Ken.
Wow.
The dribbling for D Wade, it wasn't D Wade. So yeah, I have all these amazing funny stories from Miami with some friends that did some really cool stuff. So when you mentioned, I'm like, wait a minute, that's my buddy Ken that was playing D Wade's butt double in these commercials. Pretty wild stuff.
What a claim to fame!
I know, right? Yeah. So you went from playing a lot of time playing high level basketball, and now you're as a cyclist. And you guys probably can see, how tall are you?
6'7".
6'7". So what size bike do you ride?
Yeah, it's a big one. It's like 60, 62, probably 63, depending on sort of the geometry of the frame.
Wow. And do you get those bikes special made, or?
I'm like right on the limit. I recently got a Canyon Aeroad in the fall, and the double XL still like fits me. So I'm kind of right on the edge, depending on how the reach and the stack of the bike, the geometry of the bike. I can usually get away without having to get it custom made, but sometimes not.
Yeah, we can't have this guy on a fast bike, man, because I mean the watts he put out, I see his watts that he puts out. He mentioned about like, somebody's Zwift racing. I'm like, how do you do that? I can't do half of that stuff. But because of your height and your FTP is still low, but your wattage is like next level. So I've seen it, and I'm like, yeah, one day, but my legs can push all those watts. So to talk a little bit more about your experience with some of your virtual racing, have you ever like won any like overall championship and stuff? So
yeah, so in 2022, I won the U.S. National Championships in the elite division. So that was kind of my best accomplishment. That year, it was on the platform RGT. So that's the one thing about virtual cycling is the platforms tend to change sometimes. The national championships they've been on Zwift, they've been on MyWhoosh, they've been on RGT. I don't know if they've been on any other ones, but in 2022 it was on RGT, and I won that. So that was pretty cool. One of the things about RGT, everyone says, oh, you shouldn't talk about that, but they had the CDA, so your coefficient of aerodynamic, whatever it is, it kind of treated everyone the same. So that was a huge advantage for me because being 6'7", like clearly I have a larger CDA than most people. But that was the way that their algorithm kind of worked. And so, I mean, it wouldn't help me at all on the uphills, but like on the downhills, I was like a cannonball. And so that was kind of fun for me to try and.
But in real life, you're a cannonball.
I'm still a cannonball.
Cannonball.
I'm still a cannonball in real life too. But.
If you can hold this, I'm telling you, if you can hold this wheel, I'm telling you, you'll have PRs. So I'm telling you, show up to Cortado, maybe in a Wednesday or Thursday when it warms up. And if you want to get some PR, let's look for his wheel. And if you can hold it, I'm guaranteed you'll get some PRs. 100% guaranteed. Yeah, because so I noticed like in some of your results, there's this one kid that I don't know. This kid is like something else. I think his name is Aiden Pucker.
Aiden Pucker, yeah.
Jesus,
yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I mean, he's he puts out some major watts. He and I were on the same virtual team for a little while on Restart Racing, and he's not too far away. He's up in Wisconsin.
Yeah, I know. I am a kind of a fanboy through a friend of mine.
Yeah.
So a buddy of mine introduced me to Aiden virtually, and I've been following him, and his numbers are just like out there. Just man, when he goes on these solar rides, I'm like, how do you maintain the average speed and power? And he's by himself.
Yeah.
But again, he's young, so
He's young. Yeah,
he's a
I mean,
spring chicken.
he puts in a lot of hours too. So a lot of volume. So I mean, like, you know, he's he's done really well on the virtual cycling scene. So I compete I've started competing on this platform, My Whoosh, and they have their different categories based on your watts per kilo. They kind of, which is one of the things I kind of like. They put you in groups where you can compete at, and then they have prize money at the different levels. So like the Cat 1 is the highest level. That's where Hayden competes at. I mean, there's some professional cyclists that are in there. Michael Vink, Jason Osborne, who's was last year's world champ, maybe this year's world champ too, in virtual cycling. I'm in Cat 4, but up there, Hayden, I mean, like he's competing with the best. I mean, like,
the last time I saw him, I think he put out like 5.3 watts per kg for like forever, and he's a pretty,
and with huge watt numbers too. Like, he's kind of like, I mean, he's not as big as I am, but he's, you know, 80, 90 kilos, and he's the current U.S. national champ in e-cycling. So
congrats, bud. Well deserved.
Yeah.
You put the work in, so I can, you know, attest to that. I've seen it, and big congrats. So yeah, so when it comes to biking, you know, so you got a Twix, you said Aero, now there's a Canyon. So what tires are you running now?
Let's see. I'm running the Continentals.
The GP5000?
Yeah, the GP5000.
Everybody runs GP5000.
I mean, that's what it came with. So it's still kind of got that newish bike. So I haven't really changed much from what it came with. But
what about tire pressure? What are you running on your bikes?
So I run them I'm big, so I run them higher. I mean, I think on those ones I'm running about 8 bar, maybe 7.5 in the back, something like that.
Okay.
I haven't really, I haven't quite made the transition to outside yet, so the numbers aren't sort of fresh in my head yet.
Gotcha. That's fine.
I'm still kind of in the virtual cycling.
Yeah, when it warms up, you get a good chance to truly break it in and figure out all the different things that you need to do. And what crank arm length are you running on your bike?
I run 175s.
Me too. Yeah. So most of my bikes here, I'm running 175 or I do like 172.5, which for me works. I know people going to like 165 because they want to be Tadej Pogacar. So I know the feeling. Yeah. So again, you know, I always try to let people realize that, you know, how amazing of a cyclist somebody is, because you mentioned earlier you're in 606, and I always tell people to get a 606, you have to be like the best of the best of the best, or you have to be up there. So talk a little bit about your 606 team and experience.
So I got involved with that group actually before it was 606, when it was Gotham Cycling Team.
Gotham Green, yeah.
Gotham Green, yeah. And that was, I want to say it like I joined either during the pandemic or right after or right before. And then things kind of shut down, and then we transitioned to 606. I mentioned that I did the Judson ride a lot. So the morning Judson ride, for a while, there was a lot of the 606 guys were doing that. That's the weekday one that goes at 5:30, and it's kind of tapered off a little bit. And now Cortado, like group, those two groups have kind of merged a little bit, at least for the Tuesdays and Thursday rides. Back then it used to be like the Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, the weekday Judson 5:30 in the morning. Like that was a big group, and Mike Lanyon, Tom Driver, a lot of those guys that are 606 would do those, and then also the weekend Judson. So I kind of, and they were in Gotham too, and then they merged over to 606, and I kind of followed them at that time. So I mean, 606 has really grown. I mean, they've added a women's team, it's just been fantastic. And they're, I'm kind of the older guy now, and like the few of us in the masters division. But the young guys and women are doing some really great things. We've got a domestic U.S. team, and so it's really cool.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward. I guess I'll say I'm looking forward to what 606 is doing, because they're recruiting some of the best cyclists in Chicago, and I think at the national level they're going to be able to compete with all the big teams in the U.S. So looking forward to that. And I think Simone is one that's leading getting the women's team together. We got like Nikki De La Cruz and all these amazing strong ladies I've ridden with. So man, I'm cheering the team on so much. I end up buying a jersey
Yeah,
because
yeah.
I support local, and
It's great for Chicago cycling.
yeah, no,
Definitely.
no,
Yeah.
606 is amazing. And there's a lot of other teams I must give some credit to, that's doing fantastic, like OK Cycling,
Mhm.
Evolution, that's racing, and I think there's unofficial racing. There's several teams that are doing fantastic, but man, if you can make it to 606 level, oh, you're up there. So we learned about his basketball career, cycling. So let's kind of because we're trying to get to learn about you a little bit more. So you went to Princeton, and I did my research. So engineering degree.
Mhm.
So what do you do after for work now? Previously, like what do you do?
So when I retired from basketball, we moved back from Italy to Evanston, and I got involved in education. So I went back to school, got my master's in education, and became a high school math teacher. And so I taught high school math at ETHS, which is where I went to high school for a year, and then actually my youngest was born, and full-time teaching wasn't quite as family friendly a profession as I thought it would be. It was taking up a ton of time, and having 5 kids and a newborn, it was just like, it was a lot. And so I transitioned to part-time teaching, taught at Beacon Academy, and then for a couple of years I transitioned into administration. So I was the head of school interim head of school at Baker Demonstration School, which is a small private school in Wilmette, which is a school that I went to when I was a kid, and my kids have gone to. And then now I've transitioned kind of back out of administration. I taught a little bit this past year. My wife has gone back to work, and so now I'm kind of in between jobs and trying to figure out if I want to get back into teaching or do something else. And so, yeah.
Well, that's become like a superstar local legend for us, and that's come and pull us around, and
Yeah.
and hopefully we can end up paying all your bills for you, because we love when you come out. We need to pay you for your PRs, man. Because I'm telling you, whenever you come to Cortado and in the group chat, and you see everybody's out like PR, and they'll be like, David's be like, man, I've been riding the same road for like 65 years. And Mason showed up today, and because of Mason, I have like 10 PRs. It's always like the chat whenever you show up. So again, Cortado, from me to Cortado and everybody, we really and truly appreciate you when you show up and you help to push us a little bit and just give us all those draft if you're getting audio wheels. So we really, really and truly appreciate that. So any plans for when it warms up, for cycling?
Yeah, I mean, I would like to try and get back into some outdoor racing. We'll see if last year I transitioned from indoor cycling to outdoor racing. Like, I didn't give myself enough time in between, and chose the race down at University of Chicago, Monsters of the Midway race, and like, it had rained like right before the race, and it was a wet course, new asphalt, and like I didn't have enough outdoor hours put in, and sure enough, on like the 3rd or 4th lap, I just slid out, and ended up, I think I got back in it and then crashed again, and I was like, oh my god, like, okay, I can't just jump from Zwift into outdoor racing.
I hear these stories. I'm like, man, this is why I don't want to race, because man, I'm old, man. I'm almost in my mid 40s, and I'm like, crashing. This don't sound like fun.
It wasn't. And I had to like get back from the race was at like 7:30, and then I had like kids sporting events and birthday parties to go to, and I'm bleeding from my road rash, and trying to be like, yeah, I'm fine, and having conversations at basketball games like, what's happening to your leg, and don't worry about it. So yeah, we'll see. That's what I'd like to try and do a little bit of that. It is. I don't like crashing, and I'm getting old, and I don't have tons of time, but I do. I really enjoy it. I mean, and if I can get the training, do enough for group rides where I feel confident outdoors again, I might like to try and do a little bit of that. If it doesn't work out, then we'll see. Like I said, the My Whoosh stuff is really fantastic. Works great for my schedule because the races are Sunday mornings at 4:45. So, I mean, I don't, my Saturday nights are not too crazy to begin with, but it's great for avoiding conflicts because not too much happens Sunday morning in the family at about 4:45.
Trust me, I understand with kids and balancing, work life, family time, which I try my best not to let cycling come between me and my family. So that's why I love Cortado. I bike early morning. I can be home at 7:30 to take the kids to school. I can decide, I'm too tired. I'm gonna sleep a little before I go to work. Then I go to work, I come home and juggle things around. I make sure on the weekends, if I go out, at least by 11:30, 12 o'clock, I'm back home.
Yeah.
Because that's when people start moving around, because if they get lazy to sleeping, and then I get home, I made my famous Jamaican breakfast because my kids, it's like a Jamaican tradition. We grew up eating like tin mackerel with fried dumplings, and my kids love that stuff. So when I get home and I make that stuff, they're like, "Oh, thanks, Dad. When are you gonna make this for me? When are you gonna make this for me?" So we have these little traditions that we do that keeps us rolling. And you must have some probably tradition that you do at home with the kids.
Yeah, I mean,
pancake day.
Pancakes and bacon is a family favorite for sure. Sometimes donuts, usually on the weekends. My kids are all pretty active in sports, and so the weekends typically we've got lots of different sporting events. But pizzas, pizza night, pizza and movie night. Now we're all in on March Madness. So
nice.
Watching a lot of basketball games. And I find myself if I'm ever running late from a bike ride, all I gotta do is just take home some cookies or whatever I can get from muffins from my bike ride, and I come home and I'm a superhero. And if I take my wife coffee, we're all good. Yeah, it's important. You got to take care of your support staff and your team. I mean,
100%. Same like you. We have movie night, game night.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it was a couple nights ago we all lay down and we watched the new movie with Chris Pratt and Millie Bobby Brown. There's a new movie with robots and stuff. So we have all these little family things that we do, and it's just pretty cool. So a lot of biking. What do you do outside of biking? Like if you're not sport wise, or do you anything other than biking?
Not really. I mean, I had some injuries in my basketball career, and my right ankle. If you're ever drafting and you're on my right side, there's a better draft because my right ankle is huge.
Okay, good to know. Now I know.
Cheat code. Unfortunately, I kind of destroyed it in playing basketball, and so. Running is not something that I can do anymore, and even walking sometimes gets difficult. But thank goodness, so far, cycling still is totally fine, and swimming as well. I do a little bit of swimming actually in the summer. Just I like to go down to the lake and have an early morning swim.
Yeah, our friend. I think Doug Holt. He has a big group of guys that go and swim in negative numbers. I'm like, no. These guys swim through the entire winter time in slush. I'm like, how do you guys do that stuff? But I guess it's very rejuvenating to them. And it's fun.
That's not on my to-do list, but I do like, the early morning swim for me is when it's warmer out is kind of nice to kind of activate some other muscles. And, but yeah, other than that, I watch a lot of sports because, like I said, all my kids play basketball. I got two kids in who are on the ETHS team that this year had a really great run, and that was a ton of fun. So, my exercise is mainly cycling, a little bit of swimming, and then vicariously I enjoy through others.
Gotcha. Do you like a lot of cooking at home?
I do like cooking. Yeah. Let's see. I mean, we lived in Italy for 15 years. So we love making different pastas and sauces, lasagnas.
From scratch.
Well, if time allows. It's been a while since we have made pasta from scratch. But usually we don't have time to do that. So, but we will make the ragu from scratch and the sauces, and my kids love it when I make steak. So that's another.
You can never go wrong with steak. And I tell this because every time when my wife's father wants us to come to visit or we go camping, he's like, "Hey, I'm gonna make steak." I'm like, "Okay, we'll be there," because they live tours with stuff. You live in Sterling, Illinois,
Okay.
and then we go to visit every couple of weeks or so. And he's always say, "I got steak," and they're like,
We're there.
"We're there."
Yeah.
you
Yeah,
can't,
can't go wrong.
can't beat that. So you heard about Tadej Pogacar? That he's gonna be at Barry Bay. He's gonna be at Barry.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So I was telling
Wow.
Henry to go give Tadej some competition.
Yes. That's amazing.
And so do you have any favorite picks for Tour de France coming up? Do you have any favorites, or what do you think? How's it gonna play out?
Obviously Pogacar has got to be in there. Jonas too. Yeah, I try to follow professional cycling a little bit. There's only so much time that I can spend on sports though, and so usually my kids' sports take precedence over Tade and the Tour. But I did really enjoy the Milano San Remo race. That was incredible.
Oh, that's the one when what's his name again? With the
Van der Poel and Ghana and
yeah. Oh my God, that was like this amazing. I mean, I think Tad knew he wasn't gonna win because he's not a sprinter as good as but he still gave them hell. My God, that was a fantastic finish to see. So yeah, I mean, guys, Mason is in the network. We've seen him, but probably don't know. Maybe he looked intimidating because he's a big guy, but please just say hi to him. He's one of the guys I'm telling you I've gotten to know and just became. I mean, he's somebody I have a lot of respect for, and just in passing with have some conversations, and I'm like, wow, he's a family guy like myself. So we kind of connect on many levels that we know what it takes to have a family, try to balance that with cycling, and I'm just doing this for fun, right? I mean, I will never race, maybe, but because I'm in all the groups and I just just do it for fun. So I tell the guys, look, I'll join all your clubs. If there's a fee, I'll pay it. I'll support you guys, but there's no conflict of interest. Okay. So from all the jerseys I've owned, from 606 to OK Cycle to Triple X to Cortada to Plaza, I read everybody. I call myself a very promiscuous cyclist, but I love people. Yeah. And nothing beat that. We finish, we have coffee. On the weekends, we have little barbecues here and there. And if I ever do anything, you're always welcome to come and hang out with us. And as I can't say enough that how the guys at Cortado appreciates you. And sometimes they curse because it's as hard, but at the end they're like, that was a good ride. That was a good ride. So a lot of indoor racing for you. So I remember when you go back outside, remember to unclip because you're on Zwift.
Right.
I did my first ride. Was it for the entire winter when it got cold? Last Friday was the first time I went outside. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, great success. I remember to unclip because some people just think you're on Zwift. They like and fall over. So I hope that don't happen to you.
Doesn't happen, yeah.
Yeah. So being, a cyclist, do you have any in Chicago? Do you have anything that you think is a challenging for you here, or something you feel as a challenge and something how can we even what we have so far in Chicago? Can we improve on what we're doing here as a cycling community, or I think we're in a good place?
I mean, I think the Chicago cycling community is in a good place. I think there's so many great ways to access it. I think it can be intimidating for new riders, because I know it was intimidating for me, because you see these groups rides go by, and I do think that one, making an easier entry point into cycling and into group riding and clubs, I think that may be something that for new cyclists, it feels like, I don't know, how do I get into this? Where is there an intro to cycling, and then you can kind of work your way. And that I think maybe is missing a little bit. It seems like most people who, when they get into cycling, they kind of start on their own, and maybe they're able to join in a group ride, and sometimes they're brought in well, and someone brings them under their kind of wing, kind of like what happened with me. But other times they just kind of have to learn on their own, and then they're in the group, and I think that sometimes for group riding too, not everybody, even people that have been doing group rides for a long time, not everybody has the same understanding of the protocols and the etiquette and the ways to kind of do things that would be, and obviously the goal is in the end is safety
Right.
and being able to get a good, a good challenging workout. I mean, everyone, I think that, like, it's the more you understand about it, the better it, like you said, the better the community can be, and the better, more rewarding everyone can get out what they're hoping for. So that would be the only thing I think that, like, I feel maybe is still a little bit lacking. Like, if I'm never cycled before and wanted to get involved in that, where would I go to begin? I think that's a question. Maybe there's something out there I haven't.
Yeah, I mean, I find that. So, for example, I think Tim Hamal is a fantastic job with Evolution, where they have like their racing guys, and they have their community kind of ride, and they have like the A group and the B group, and they have like, hey, this ride is not about going speed, we're going to stick together. And they have like groups where they kind of teach people about, hey, this is how you ride in a group, and things to do, not to do. So I think Evolution is a fantastic job with that, and building up. I mean, again, from racing to novice to all different levels. And I think they do a good job with that. I also think Cortado did a pretty good job. I think they do a pretty good job with welcoming people. And for example, on Friday, we have like a very chill ride, a coffee pace ride, and that kind of you can ride and talk to people. So like, if you're not hearing the person behind you, that means we're going too fast. So not anything above 20 miles an hour. But then, of course, when we head back south on Green Bay, then at Lake Cook, then all bets are off. Right? So, but at least they're actually doing that to help out people. And again, I always say this, please don't be a twat waffle. We need to be welcoming. And a lot of, I mean, when I started out, I started with Evanston Bike Club, and I didn't know what I was doing, from having the wrong shoe, didn't know about, Garmin and GPS and all these different things. And over time, I learned about group dynamics, and it has helped me tremendously about like how to draft and stuff. And again, people push the idea, hey, you need to have this nice, expensive, fancy bike. But guys, the bike is good, but I guarantee if you put the work in, I guarantee, like Mason can attest to this, if you put the work in, you have an okay bike, you'll be do just fine. in almost any group setting.
Totally.
Right? If you want to go become like a superstar racer, high level intensity, yes, you might need to get on some training program and get a coach, all different things. But that's for everyday life and keeping up with most groups in Chicago. Work on yourself, get a good bike, okay bike. You don't have to be $10,000 bike or $15,000 if you can. If you can afford it, hey, go for it. But having a good bike, I think, is sufficient to get you around, right? What you say about that?
I would agree. No, I would agree 100% with that. I mean, I think people get a little bit caught up too much in the equipment side of it, and you can always buy a fancier and more expensive thing, but it's not. Spend a little bit extra time just exercising, and you'll get the free gains, and you'll get improvement that will be way more effective and way less costly than.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still running. Most of my bikes are still rim brakes. And the industry moving towards disc brake and stuff, and I'm like, man, my rim brake, it stops the bike, and I'm good. And if it's raining outside, it's too rainy, it's too cold, I did play my part in those. I'm like, no, I'm going to be indoor and Zwift. Thank Jesus for giving us Zwift and Wahoo Kicker. We can get on our bikes and keep up with our friends, and we can. I mean, I've met so many new people. I've met people on Zwift, and then eventually meet them in real life in different states. So you can't beat that. And even when it gets kind of crazy, we will still make event, and I can still bike with my friends in the virtual world, right? And I mean, that's just priceless. Just have the connection still.
No, I've had that same experience. When I went to, I think, the Cincinnati area with one of my sons for a basketball tournament, and I brought my bike and did a ride, just kind of, found some route on Strava. And after that ride, I got a message from somebody that I ride with on Zwift, like, hey, what are you doing in the area? Like, you're in my backyard. Like, if you want to join a group ride, like, we got to ride the next day. And I was like, yeah, sure. And met up with some of these guys, and they took me around. It was a fantastic ride, new area. So I agree. That's one of the awesome things about the virtual cycling and Strava and everything. Going back to what you were talking about a little bit before about entry points and equipment. One thing that I did actually learn, kind of not the hard way, but when you're getting started, I think regardless of what type of bike you have, understanding the bike and learning about how it works and taking care of it, I think is really, really valuable because, you know, while you can ride fine, you know, with just about any type of bike, if a bike is not well maintained, or you know, that then you put yourself and others at risk. So I think that like understanding like basic bike mechanics, and it doesn't have to be, you know, you're not like you're replacing the crank or, you know, like, or bulb the bearings, like, you know, and it's like everything you build up to, you learn more, but some basic things I think are really important to understand to keep yourself safe and keep others safe.
Yeah, I went through that to the point now where I've learned so much about biking where, you know, all these bikes I build right myself.
Yeah.
All these other bike you see here, other than this one I got from my friend, because it's disc brake, so that's the only disc brake bike I had. But and I bought hydraulics, and I don't want to have those fluids and stuff in my place. But other than this, I build this bike myself. I have all the tools to get the bottom brackets and everything off, changing my cassette, all the different stuff. That my trick you're looking at right there, that frame cost me $180 in the eBay bidding, and I just built it up myself.
Yeah.
My Planet X, same thing too. I built it up myself, and I've learned so much about biking. So little basic stuff I can do. Well, I can build bikes myself. So give me 4 hours with all the right stuff, and I can build a bike. And if it's a rim brake, this brake bike is another beast, and I'm not getting involved in that as yet. But yeah, if you learn about biking, and we have people in our network too that if you have any question about biking stuff, you phone a friend, and I guarantee you they'll answer your question. I always talk about, and if you know Andrew Van Til, he's like the guru in the group. You have a question about biking, he said, Andrew, I have this thing I need to fix or whatever. I got beer, and he says, okay, come over, and he'll fix it for you.
Oh, good to hear.
And any suggestion about, again, what to get and not to get, Andrew Van Til. He's the man.
He's the expert.
That bike over there, he built the bike for me.
Oh, nice.
That frame was $350.
Nice.
And I took it to his house at 9:00 at night, and we spent until about 2:00 in the morning, and we built the bike together. I went home, and my wife was like, where are you? I'm like, I'm still here. And we built that bike together.
What's the name?
Fuji. It's a Fuji.
No, Troublemaker.
Troublemaker. That's my brand. That's my brand. Yeah. I started this t-shirt company back in the days, and I was in Miami. Did pretty good, but man, it's time consuming. So you know, and most of my stuff I stamp it with Troublemaker because I actually own that word.
Oh, nice.
That is actually, I made that word up, and I own it as a t-shirt company, and again did pretty good. But time, maybe one day I'll bring it back. But as of now, I've picked up different hobbies, and with my career now, I'm just like so busy with doing science and managing people and trying to write papers and get grants and all sorts of different things. So, and then with balance with family and cycling, so I'm like, maybe one day I'll get back to it.
Good for you. Yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot.
It's a lot of stuff, but it's fun, and I really enjoy it. So, guys, we have, again, I want to stress it and over. Mason Rocca, again, he's in the network. Don't be shy. If you see him out there, say hi. Look, he's on Zwift. He's all over. You'll probably see him at a basketball game with his kids. 6'7", so hard to miss. I probably can't even go and mount his bike because it's way too big. But man, it's a really honor to have you here, and I really appreciate that you came out and sit and talk with us. So anything you want to leave us with before we wrap up, and just to say that people in Chicago, that what motivates, what keep you going?
I mean, I love to exercise, but I really love to compete. I mean, the cycling, and I think it's probably left over from I'm a very chill person, but like when I do have that like sort of competitive aspect that really cycling for me allows me to unlock it a little bit. But I also like competing with other people and building friendships, and I think that's what one of the great things that cycling has provided, and any sport does. I mean, there's something about working hard together with other people and communicating, and I think we're doing this for fun. We're doing this to keep ourselves healthy, and I think it's a great sport. And I feel really blessed that like to be in this area where there's so much great cycling, even though we don't have any massive hills, or we've got Tower Road Hill.
That's about it. That's and the rollers
and the rollers. But like, for flat cycling, I think it's pretty fantastic. And Also, we're blessed to have, being in a metropolitan area with so many different people from different backgrounds that have gotten involved in cycling and in different ways. And so, yeah, if you're on the fence about, getting involved or not, I'd say definitely jump in, because I don't think you'll regret it.
Yeah, and I must say, big shout out to JB, James Brown. Same thing, I bike with him and he tried to give me some advice, but I was like, James, man, I know I have a low cadence, but it is what it is. I've tried, and high cadence made me get really, really tired. So I'm just a slow 65, 75 is my sweet spot, and it works for me. But James Brown, you're the man. And then
Jedi Master.
Exactly. He's a true Jedi Master. So here's one thing that, if you read up a lot and look at, the past of the history of the people you're talking to and stuff. So here's something that I found out. So Rosie and Whizzer.
my dog's names. I can't. Is that you found that on Wikipedia?
Yeah, I sure did.
Yeah, one of my high school buddies put that in when way back when. I am amazed that no editor has been like, why is this in there? Yeah, those are the names of my dogs when I was growing up.
Do you still have dogs now, or?
I do not. No. We my wife and I feel that 5 children are enough living objects to take care of the living things.
That's the same reason why we have not gotten any dog. My daughters keep asking for pets, and I'm like, guys, man, you guys are enough, man. Yeah. It's a lot of work, and then we're gonna get the dog, and they don't want us to take it. I'm like, no, it's gonna be you guys. So, but yeah, it's amazing you can find on the internet though. That's how I was like, I'm gonna pull this in to see.
That was a good find.
That was a good find. That was golden. It's like, wait a minute, yeah, it's out there. So yeah, guys, Mason is in the network. We'll learn about him today. Played basketball at the highest level. He guarded Yao Ming, only 30 points. He didn't get 100, so that he did do something. Now he's in the cyclist. Teacher, engineering degree from Princeton. He's a Princeton grad. It means smart. Mathematics teacher. So if you need some help, maybe you can call him to solve some crazy quadratic equation or something that's in integral equation or calculus. He knows all these different things. And so you never know. Look, he's here. All right, guys. So again, see him on the road. Don't be shy. We have guys like Mason, Rocca in the network. There's something, Richard, right? Richard?
Yeah, Richard is my first name, but Mason is my middle name, but I've always gone by my Mason. So
gotcha. Yeah. So we have my father-in-law, his name is Richard, and his son is Richard, and is Richard in the family. So there's all these dick jokes in the family, which is most hilarious, right? So I decided, I was like, oh yeah, I remember. Your name was Richard, but I won't call you Richard. Mason it is. But again, there's so many things you can find about people if you look and you learn and didn't know these things, and now we know. But anyway, guys, I found out about his dog. His dog was a kid, Rosie and Whizzer. Yeah. So it's the network, guys. Again, thank you so much for sitting to talk with me.
My pleasure.
I'm really grateful that you came out and take your time to sit down and chat. So again, guys, this is Chicago. It's a beautiful place to be in. It's a beautiful culture. We have amazing cycling community, and we're always welcoming to people. But again, don't be a twat waffle, okay? Learn the rules. We have different rules. First, at least what I do when I join a group for the first time, I always sit at the back of the group and I look to see how the group dynamics is. I kind of figure out who are the hitters and the quitters and all different things. I'm like, okay, then once I figure out who's what, then I move up to the front and I'm like, okay, if you want me to contribute to pulling, I will help the group out. So that's my one thing I do every time I go up to a group for the first time. Any group I show up to for the first time, I'm always at the back.
Yeah.
And I watch to see who's a leader, who is, all different things. And that's a big helpful thing for me too. When I in almost any group ride I do for the first time.
Yeah, I think that's a great approach.
I'm at the back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Watch and learn.
Because I don't want to mess up the people's route, their speed, their culture, because I don't know what it is. Right. So that's what I do. I was at the back. And then once I get used to it, I'm like, all right, I move to the front. And then there's a sprint, maybe for the first ride, and there's a sprint I never do anything because I don't know what it is. And then afterwards, I find out who is the big dog, and then I try to.
And then you try to beat him.
Chicago, love this place. It's today's raining. It's storming outside today because we're in that kind of a crazy transition. But about May, we're gonna be settled down. Maybe in 2 weeks, gonna have beautiful weather. We'll be out there. So, guys. Chicago Cycle Network signing out, guys. Again, keep the miles and smiles going until we meet again, guys.